Hi, welcome to Quilting with Lori. My name is Lori Dickman. Today I'm starting a new series. This one is called Template Tuesday, where on Tuesdays, probably 2, maybe 3 times a month, I will create a quilt for you using templates from your studio. Today's quilt is going to use the orange peel template, and no worries if you don't have templates. Each of my patterns will have a paper copy so you can create your own template from plastic film. Today we're going to be working on butterflies in flight. Isn't that a beautiful quilt? So what I'll be teaching over the course of this series is how to use many of these templates. I'm trying to grab a few of them here for you. Here is the rhombus template, which is a great one. There's actually 2 templates in one on when you're using this. You can either use the top portion of it, which will give you the 60-degree triangle, or you can use the entire template, which is the full diamond or the rhombus. We'll be learning how to cut and create drunkard's paths using the drunkard's path template. We'll be learning some fun hexes, half hexes. It's a great way to put together hexes without having any Y seams. We'll be using our tumblers, and of course we'll be using our Dresden template as well. There's so many different templates, and I'm sure I haven't pulled them all out. I just realized the wedge and wing set is another one that we'll be using. So stay tuned over the course of the next few months. I will have some Template Tuesday videos out at least twice a month, maybe 3 times a month. The quilt that's behind me is called Butterflies in Flight, and the pattern will be out on my website. As soon as I have it out on my website, I'll link it in the description box below so you can follow that link right out to it. There's actually 2 different wall quilts that you can make. I've made the smaller 44-inch wall quilt, which is up here on the wall, and this one is a larger wall quilt that is 56 inches, and it's just a double design of this. It's just beautiful, and it's so very simple. You can either use fusible applique to applique these orange peels, or you can use glue-based. And for me, I didn't even use glue-based. I just cut the fabrics, pinned them in place, and appliqued them down. I'll bring you close so you can see my applique and how I put it together here in just a minute. But I'm going to give you the tips and the tricks on how to get your background squares ready, what items that you're going to need for fusible. If you want to do paperback fuse, there's so many options of light paperback fuse. This one is a Wonder Under from Pellon. There are so many out there. Choose your favorite line of paperback fuse. Make sure it's a lightweight. That works so much better. If you have a background square that's kind of flimsy, then you might want to also purchase some lightweight fusible interfacing. That's the interfacing that you use for sewing garments. I like to buy that by the yard. It's a very, very lightweight. And I will fuse the entire back of my background square. I'm trying to open it here. I will fuse the entire background. And what that does is help when you're appliquing so that you're not pushing things down into the feed plate and things are not coming up. It's frustrating when you're appliquing and some of those issues happen. And so sometimes just applying a very lightweight fusible interfacing to the background, to the back end of it, will really prevent a lot of those frustrating issues that we encounter. First, I want to talk about fabric. And for this quilt, as you see, in fact, I have been going into my batiks drawers. I have drawers full of batiks, and I've been saving them, and it's like, this is silly. I need to use them. So on this Template Tuesday series, I am going to be using my batiks and create beautiful quilts. So these are the fabrics that I used for this particular quilt. Now, you can also make this very, very scrappy. And so what I'm going to need for the scrappy samples that I'm going to be creating here today, I'm going to make some sample blocks for you, is I'm going to pull my 3.5-inch strip bin. And so I have that, and I have pulled some 3.5-inch wide strips from which I'm going to be cutting some of these fabrics. And I'm going to show you the glue-based technique. I'll also show you the fusible technique so that you can see how both are accomplished. I'll also show you, along with that glue-based, where if you just don't even use the glue, just lay the fabric down on the background and pin it, you can go ahead and applique that just as well. It works really nicely. Let me take you on a close-up so that you can see the quilt itself, and then we're going to come here and I'm going to walk through these blocks and how simple they are to make. You can see this well. This is not quilted. This is just pieced. And as you can tell, it's very, very soft. It's very, very soft. There is no interfacing in here at all. And that's how it will be if you use glue-based or just no glue at all. And but I will teach you how to do the fusible if you prefer to have the nice finished edges. But my applique here, you'll see I did a blanket stitch around all of these. And it's a very simple way I'm going to demo on the table how to go about getting that applique done very, very quickly, because you can start at one point and continue all the way around the block without even having to finish, and you can end up at the other side. So it's a very fast way to get the blanket stitch on there. So that's what I've used. I've used a rayon thread in a beautiful color that complements either the blue or the green. You don't have to do that. You could just simply do an edge stitch with a matching thread or maybe a contrast thread and use the same contrast thread throughout. That would be even faster and very pretty. So that is how I've done my quilt. I just wanted to give you a close-up. Once this gets quilted, I'll have to do some show and tell of some of these quilts and how the quilting looks on them as well. And here, here it is a little bit farther away. Now I have you at the tabletop, and I just wanted to share with you some things that you're going to need. First of all, as I discussed earlier, for background fabric, I have cut some 12.5-inch squares for my background, and what you'll need for this quilt is either 9 for the smaller quilt or 16 for the larger quilt. And then the pattern itself comes with a PDF, and if you don't happen to have an orange peel template, in fact, this one's quite large. This one would not work for this particular background block, but I just wanted you to see the orange peel that is available out in the market. There's a number of them that you could get, but you could also just simply trace it onto plastic template film, which is what I have done. And I highly recommend that you use the plastic template marking pencil. This is just, it's a wax pencil, so therefore the writing here does not come off on your hands and it doesn't come off on your fabric. That's why I prefer to use this when I'm making my own plastic templates. And then all that I did for creating my little orange peel fabric pieces is I simply double folded strips, and this strip was cut at 3.5 inches wide because that is what the width of this is. And I simply traced onto the fabric with my wax pencil, and then I can cut out 2 at a time. I can pin this and cut out 2 at a time because I have it on the fold. So if you want to make a really scrappy block where every single orange peel on the square is a different fabric, that would be fun. Or maybe you'd like to make each block a specific color, but have a rainbow of colors throughout your quilt. There's so much you can do with it. Or you can simply follow this pattern here, how it creates the design where the colors are on the outside in the center, and then there is a focal point here. Same thing here. Just a lot of fun. So use your imagination. So in this case, I used my template here that I had created from plastic film. I traced it onto the wrong side of these two. I cut them out, pinned it and cut them out. So I have this, and this has no interfacing. This can be used with glue-based, which I'll show you. This one has the fusible interfacing on the back. I simply cut 3.5-inch strips of fusible, paper-backed fusible, and pressed that to the wrong side of the strip, and then traced it right on the strip. As you can see here, there is one of the, I'll get closer, there is one of the orange peels traced on the paperback side. There's the front side of the fabric, and I'll simply use a scissors, or you can use the rotary cutters, and cut out your templates and cut out as many as you'd like for the size quilt that you're going to make. Now what I want to share with you is how to actually apply both of these techniques. So this will be the fusible applique, which I will need to fuse onto the background square before I quilt it or applique it. This one I will simply pin in place wherever I need it after I have glue-basted it. So let me get the glue-based options out. There's a number of those that you can use as well. I brought you a little closer so you can see some of these glue-based options that we have here. It's just amazing how much there's, and this is not all of them. These are just a sampling. You can use simple Elmer's glue from that you're using for school, and you're simply using tiny, tiny little drops. I'm going to make sure that this is open. Tiny, tiny little drops like that in the various areas, maybe on the end here. And I would just dot little dots on each side just to lay it down. And as you can see, I'm going to pin it. That is one glue-based option. I'm not gluing the entire fabric. I'm just putting dots under there along the edges, just tiny little dots, and that will dry and it will disappear. Here's another option. This one's Elmer's Craft Bond. Here is Roxanne glue-based dip and baste. This one is Roxanne glue-based at temporary basting guide. There's a two-way applicator here. This is another Roxanne glue-based, which has a really tiny little tiny needle nose here that little small drops of the glue will come out. That's another option. Alex Anderson has, Quilter Select has a wonderful glue-based option, and these are some of the refills and so forth. So there's all kinds of options for you. Use your favorite brand. I choose different ones at different times. Sometimes it just happens to be what's closest. And for today, I am simply going to use this Elmer's, which is such a simple way to go. And I'm not using much. As you can see, I'm just dotting a little bit on the end. I'm going to turn it around here so I can get to it easier. Just a tiny little dot about every inch or so is all that's needed. And as you can, I guess I closed it. As you saw in my quilt on the wall, I didn't use any glue at all. And it's a very soft, it gives it a nice soft feel, which is what I love. Now, what I've done before applying any of these orange peels onto the background, as you can see, I have folded it. So I have a guide here. So I know where these points need to meet in the center. And then the next one will have to be placed right here if I were to use that one. I think I'd rather cut out a different color one here. But that's how I would actually put them together. When you're appliquing, and you can certainly just do a straight stitch, you can do a zigzag stitch, you can do a blanket stitch, whichever. But you can actually start at one end here and work your way around and go back and then do this one that would be there and come back and do this one. And you finish. The whole thing can be done. But it's a very simple way to actually applique this entire block all in one fell swoop without breaking your thread. I brought you over to the sewing machine and I'm getting ready to go ahead and applique. These two pieces have the fusible applique, so I've lined them up according to the lines on the background and I've fused them to the background. These two pieces are glue-based, so there is glue just along the very edges. One thing to keep in mind with glue-based, you might have more of a organic, if you will, edge where there might be some fraying. In this case, because we're on bias all the way around, there isn't really any fraying at all. But if you've got some straight line templates that you're doing and you're just appliquing the template as opposed to piecing the template, there might be some organic fraying there, which I like that look. But if you don't, then you might want to always make sure you use the paper-backed fusible applique method. Paper-backed fuse will actually give you a much more crisp, clean edge. So be aware of that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stitching right here. And I kept on my 1/4 inch foot. I'm not going to worry about changing that. I'm simply going to do a straight stitch, an edge stitch all the way around. I'm going to start here, go around that one there, come around this one and go around the other one, and I'll end up in the center. By starting in the center and ending in the center, that's actually the way that you can accomplish this without breaking thread. The thread color that I happened to choose was it was a pretty orange applique thread that was here next to me, and so I chose to use it. Nothing special about it, just a rayon applique thread. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my pin. This should all right, that should have secured my beginning stitch right there. Now we can get started. And I'm just getting as close to the edge as I can. I see that with this 1/4 inch foot, although it's clear, I can't see through it as well as I'd like. So I might not be, I think I'm probably more of an 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. I also want to make sure that I have my needle down position going there. That will really help. So yeah, I guess I do have more of an 1/8 of an inch edge stitch that I've done all the way around there. Hopefully you can see that in this area. Now I'm going to come back around this edge. Now at this point, I'm going to pop over And I like to keep my machine so that all of the fabric itself is on the left side. So my orange peel is pretty much on the left side of my presser foot there. And I will continue down and around. I didn't realize that my camera had stopped, so I have gone around this side of my orange peel, and now I'm coming back down. And then I'm going to just pop over to the last one here, and I'm going to finish this out. And what I'm going to do here is pull up my thread from the bottom, and the 4 orange peels are finished. That only takes maybe 5 minutes using a straight stitch going around the entire block. Here is my block. It is finished. I did not actually put a fusible interfacing on the back of my block, although I could have. As you can see, it's very see-through. It is a lighter fabric, and so a fusible interfacing on the back of that block would have been great. I would simply cut out interfacing pieces that are the same size as the background blocks and fuse them together. And that just gives your background block some stability. I didn't have any issues when I was appliquing. Sometimes the whole background will kind of push up through the feed plate, but I did use my 1/4 inch feed plate and 1/4 inch foot, and it worked beautifully. I simply did a straight stitch. That's all I did. It's kind of an edge stitch all the way around. And again, we started in the middle and we went around, and around. So that is how I made the block. I did not make this, the color layout the same as this. You can do whatever you want. You can make every single orange peel on this block a different color. You can make them 2 and 2, whatever you choose to do. There are instructions here on how many blocks you have to make with these particular shades in order to accomplish what the design looks like out here. So just keep that in mind. But a very simple block using your templates. And if you have templates in your quilt studio, I hope that you'll grab them all, dust them off over the next few months. We are going to be having fun creating some beautiful scrappy template quilts, or you can simply use your favorite lines of fabric to create some beautiful template quilts. If you have a stash of scraps and you want to use them, this is a great opportunity for that. I'm using 3.5 inch wide strips from my stash to cut out all of these orange peels. In my Speedy Solutions Techniques book, I teach you how important it is not only to cut up squares and not only to cut up strips, as we're using here, but also to cut out the templates as you're working through your scrap stash. Cut all of those parts and pieces out. It's very helpful, and you can put together quilts very, very quickly. Next time, we are going to be working with our Drunkard's Path templates. And so if you have those available, get those out and be ready with those Drunkard's Path templates. And I have a lot of wonderful designs that I'd like to share with you so that you can learn to be really proficient at sewing together Drunkard's Path quilts. Thank you so much for stopping by my Template Tuesday, episode number 1, which was the orange peel template. And this particular pattern is Butterflies in Flight. That pattern will be out on my site by tomorrow sometime, so check back for that link. I hope you're excited about it and will be joining me throughout the next few months as I do my Template Tuesday videos for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content that I prepare, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with your friends and your quilt guilds. All of that does help my channel to grow and to get out to other quilters just like yourself. Thank you so much for doing that. Until next time, happy quilting.